When I moved to Rotterdam, a friend of mine told me about two guys, Brazilian twins, that made some money in the cryptocurrency market and then bought a sailing boat and then sailed from Guatemala to Rotterdam to attend their master's course. I couldn't believe it when she told me, and I knew I had to meet the guys. So eventually I did, and I went to their sailing boat in which they live now, which is located in the center of Rotterdam. And they told me their story. The story is amazing. This video is a long one because the story is long. They traveled, I think, for 3 months. Because the video is so long, treat it as if it's a podcast, and that's it. Yeah, now prepare for the story. See you. Bye.
You wanna go first?
Yeah, okay. Okay. My name is Alexander Esle. I don't know, 24 years old. And I don't know, I think I'd say I'm a sailor, engineer, and I don't know.
My name is Philip. We're twin brothers, you probably can tell that. We're born in Brazil, lived most of our life there, and then moved to the Netherlands to do our bachelor's, and now we're doing our master's here. We've been sailing all our life, really. I think since like before we were born. Like our mom sailed with us in her, like when she was pregnant. So yeah, we've been sailing like forever, and like competitive racing, like with like smaller boats, but then also like with bigger boats. Like with my family, when we were 8 until we were 10, we lived on a boat for 2 years and sailed from the United States all the way to Australia. So yeah, we've been sailing like
it's not like a random thing that we just ended up buying a boat. Like no, it's ingrained in us that like we've always sailed, so we love it, and it's a lot of fun. So I think we'll keep up with the family tradition. It was it 2021. It was start of 2021.
Yeah,
in January. Like we were in Brazil because of lockdowns. Like we didn't want to spend winter here locked up in our apartment in Delft, so we decided to go back to Brazil and spend some time with family while we still could. And then we've always talked about owning or buying and sailing a sailing boat. So we really, at that time, we didn't have money, and like so we thought about, okay, you know, it's a nice dream, like maybe we can do it in like 5-10 years. But then me and Philip got a bit lucky with the cryptocurrency market. We managed to make a bit of money, and and then like the buying a boat became like something that we could actually do now, and that was in February, March. Yeah, it was like, I would say February, March, that we realized that
we can actually do it.
Of course, we didn't have a lot of money, so we had to like look for like a small boat, and we first like started looking for boats in Europe, because our idea was to sail in the Mediterranean, which is like a really nice place to sail, and it's like, you know, close to, you know, it'd be close to Rotterdam or where we wanted to do our masters. So we thought, oh, okay, that's perfect. But we didn't find any nice boats for like the amount of money that we were willing to spend. They were really, really small, like below 30 feet, and they were really old, like completely destroyed.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, it's a big challenge. But then I remembered that I had a friend of mine, Magnus, who I sailed with like in 2018. He's like an ice pilot. He specializes on taking like people to Greenland, like the high latitudes. And I went with him on a trip through a friend who hired Magnus. And there, like, we talked about sailing and stuff like that. And he told me about his boat, Lazy Bones, that he had in Guatemala, and that he was thinking about selling. That was in 2018, and I remembered that conversation. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna message him, see what happened with the boat, like. And he replied, and he said, no, the boat's still in Guatemala, and like he was on the edge about selling the boat because it had like a lot of emotional value to him, because his father used to sail that boat. Like he sailed a lot with his father on Lazy Bones, and he was like, I don't know, I want to find the right person to sell it to. And then like I told him about the dream me and Philip had about like owning a sailing boat, like living on it, going for like big trips. And then like he said like, give me a day like to think about it. And then the next day he texted me like, yeah, like I'll sell it to you. And then that's it. Like the moment he said that, I was like, oh fuck,
like
we bought a boat.
Yeah, it was like, because like, we didn't really plan this. Like, okay, we wanted to own a sailing boat, but we always thought, okay, this was gonna be like a long process. You know, you have to first save up the money, then you have a chance to look at many different boats, and like, oh, if I buy the boat here, this is what I want to do. And like, no, we just like literally from one day to the next, we had a boat, and so we were like, okay, I have to go back to Holland to like put everything that we own into boxes, like move out of my apartment. We used to live together in Delft. And it's like, okay, like I'm gonna go, and then you stayed a bit longer in Brazil, like figuring some stuff there, and then like in a matter.
No, because I was gonna go via Brazil directly to Guatemala.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why you came back. Oh no, because someone had to. Yeah,
like,
someone had to
house.
take care of the house. Okay, yeah, that's okay. Fine, that's a good reason. And then, yeah, like I was supposed to go straight away to Guatemala, but then the borders closed from Brazil because Brazil had like a high corona cases, and then like all the flights were canceled. So like, fuck, okay, how do we get there? So I flew to the Netherlands, did like 10 days of quarantine here, and then I could fly to Guatemala.
Yeah, I
don't know. Yeah, I looked for a loophole. We found the loophole, and then like it worked.
Yeah, because
it's amazing.
Yeah, because you like had a residency here, so like they cannot like not let you in. So
Sure.
And then because the Netherlands was like relatively fine with COVID cases, like you could still fly to Panama, and then from Panama to Guatemala.
Yeah,
oh my God.
that was a mess.
That's
but yeah, like in like basically 2 weeks, like our entire house put into boxes, and then my older brother got a van and like took all that stuff to our grandparents' house in Germany. So we just left like basically a whole apartment at our grandparents' place in boxes, and then like had like I had a backpack, I think. Yeah, Ferris. So we had another friend come with us, Ferris. He also did the same bachelor's as us in Delft, and also kind of adventurer guy, but never really sailed. So yeah, he came with us, and then my older brother was also kind of he was kind of fed up with his job in Brazil, and I was like, hey, do you just want to come? He's like, sure, fuck it, I'm gonna quit my job and like I'll go with you guys. And then I think he wanted to move back to Europe, so like,
it was like perfect for him as well. Like it was a perfect opportunity to
and that's the same brother that took your stuff to your grandparents.
Yeah.
So you all of you met up in Guatemala.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Well, I mean, we actually met in the Netherlands
because of the
stuff.
Yeah.
And then Ferris was also helping us with
Yeah, Ferris pretty much lived with us for like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he gave up his apartment in Delft, and then he was staying with us like during the
lockdowns.
Lockdowns, like he just, because his apartment was really expensive. He's like, I'm not gonna use it. Like he was staying at his parents' place often, so he's like, fine, I'll just live with you guys when I need to be in Delft. And we were like, okay, it's fine, like he's a good friend, so whatever, you know. And
then from here you all went to Guatemala.
Yeah, we went all together to Guatemala.
We're like, just backpacks pretty much.
Yeah,
we're like, there's like, just we had some like some gear, like sailing gear, like weather pants and like jackets and that kind of stuff. But the rest is like, it's pretty like warm on the boat most of the time, unless you get like when you're close to the Netherlands, then it gets cold and wet, but otherwise it's pretty good. So like we didn't have to pack so much clothes. And then we also didn't want to bring a lot of stuff, because like on a boat, like you just need very little stuff. So
So tell me, when you came to Guatemala, even though you told me already off camera, you can like, what was the what it looked like?
So I mean, first the trip was really long because we had to fly like to Panama, and it was like I think 11 hours.
You have to sleep in Panama.
Then like we had to wait 5 hours in the airport in Panama, where we slept on the floor, and then from Panama we flew to Guatemala City, which is the main city. I think it's called Guatemala.
Yeah.
So. And then there we caught like a small biplane.
My God.
Oh my God, that thing rattled. Like it was
like really like this stuff like falling off the sides.
And like the door, like it really looked like it wanted to. It was like one of those classic like third world place country.
What am I doing here?
Yeah.
Kind of.
And like, you know, I just like missed like someone taking their chickens with them. Like that was the only missing ingredient in that airplane.
Yeah.
But then like we arrived like in a really tiny like airstrip in, what's it called again?
Forgot.
Boca del Toro. That's something
No,
else.
but anyways, like a tiny old town like that has basically like a one port
yeah.
and like a bunch of narcos. Like yeah, like insane amount of like it's like the biggest like exit of cocaine in Latin America is that like region in Guatemala.
Yeah, because they have like a big river system and like all of Central America, like they use that. Like anyway, but we arrived there and we were picked up by John, the guy, the owner of the marina. He's an American, like I think he was Texan, I don't know, but he was like an old dude that like was fed up with America and like he bought a property and made a marina in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then he picked us up and like he took us to the marina and then like. To get there, like you do everything by boat, like by like speedboat. So like you arrive at the like one place where he like leaves his car, and then like he had like a skiff, like a small motorboat, like I don't know, it's like 20 feet, like fiberglass, like very typical Caribbean motorboat. And then like he had to drive us like for like 15 minutes until we reached the place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like where we were, it's called the boat was. It's called Rio Dulce, and it's a huge river system. So all the sailing boats like they stay there because it's fresh water, so it doesn't like deteriorate the boat so much, and it's really cheap to keep your boat there.
And it's also safe during the hurricane season and stuff. So it's a really nice place to like do boat work as well because everything is really cheap.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so we arrived at the marina, and we like our plan was to like stay like a week on one of the bungalows that they have there. It's like a little house on stilts, like really close. Like when there's like high tide, the water rises, and like part of the like below the house is like sometimes there's water, like that kind of style. Mm-hmm. And it's like massive rainforest. I'll send you some videos and pictures that we have, and it's like completely covered. So like there's like a dock that goes out to the it's similar to here, like but much smaller, much way more simple. But everything is like covered by trees. So like when you're in the house, you look outside, you just see like like foliage like this, and like you see water here, which is part of the river. But then you walk through here, and then you see the entire river like that.
It's amazing. It's so beautiful. It's incredibly
insanely beautiful there. Yeah. And that's when we like saw lazy bones for the first time.
Yeah. And like, I think my first reaction to seeing the boat was like fuck. It's like fuck this. Like I thought like this is a bit small, because like when you look from it from the outside, you're like, okay, this is like a small boat. But like when you go inside, you're like, okay, like it's not that bad. And then when you stay here for a while, you realize like, this is kind of like a cozy place.
Yeah,
like,
it's plenty.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, but when we arrived as well, like it was full of stuff. Like there was a bunch of stuff like on the beds. There were like piles of stuff. And then I was like, I opened the hatch. I looked at stuff, and like you can't see it really well here, but like the windows, they were rusted. Like proper big rust. I'm like, oh shit, I have to fix that. And then like I opened everything and was like, oh my god,
there's so
like
much rust, rust like everywhere.
And then like you're like, oh shit, okay, fine, whatever. Let's just go to the bungalow, get our stuff ready, like, and then I think it was already on the first day that we like started doing stuff, right?
Yeah, like we removed everything from the boat.
But we said, okay, let's remove everything from the boat. So we took everything out of the boat that's like we can, so that we can leave Guatemala.
Yeah,
that was the focus. Like,
and we needed to leave as soon as possible because probably don't know this, but like in between June and like September, it
goes up to October, November.
Yeah,
it depends, but like.
But there's the hurricane season in the Caribbean, so like, it's completely very unpredictable weather, and it's just very dangerous to be there as a small sailboat. So you kind of want to get out of a certain latitude, and it normally is around like Bermuda, like the height of Bermuda, which you can probably see in a map here. But so we really wanted to get out of this range as soon as possible, and we were like, okay, like we can spend months here fixing this boat for it to be super good quality and super premium.
Which in hindsight,
probably we should have done that, but like we also had already enrolled for our masters, and we knew that it was going to start in August. So we're like, okay, we have a deadline to arrive in Rotterdam in August. We know how many, like the distance. We know roughly it's gonna take like 80 days to get there.
Yeah, just to put in perspective, like Guatemala is in Central America, and Rotterdam is basically in Northern Europe. And to sail that distance, like I think in a straight line, it's like 6,000 miles. I don't know, but it's 6,000 miles is I think 8,000 kilometers. Maybe
10,000.
Yeah,
something like that. It's a lot. And this boat, Lazy Bones, does around 120 miles a day. Like our trip average was 120 miles a day when we were sailing. So we had to do 6,500 miles divided by 120. Like that's like how long it would take to do it.
And like that's non-stop. And like of course you can't do non-stop. Like you have to, the limiting factor on this boat really is like how much water we can carry.
Yeah, and fuel as well, because when there's no wind, like we normally motor.
Because we were in a hurry.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
if we weren't in a hurry, we would have not have motored.
We did a lot of stuff, but it was mostly just like organizing, seeing what we had, like throwing
stuff away. Like I threw a bunch of stuff
waste,
away. We had to get a new dinghy, like this white thing on the top. I'll show you later. It's like how we get from the boat to the beach or something.
Oh
like
yeah.
So we need to fix that, and then the engine to that we had to fix.
Yeah.
2 days doing that
because
we fucked it up. Classic. And we also got like some equipment that we needed, like headlamps, batteries,
spare parts, like hose clamps. You always need hose clamps for a boat. Always buy hose clamps.
We also got like new like some spare pipes and stuff, like just to have like, because like Guatemala is super cheap for all this stuff. Like it's incredibly cheap. We also bought like fishing gear, and we were relatively inexperienced in fixing boats, like hardcore fixing boats. Like we how to clean a boat and stuff like that, take things apart, put it back together, and we had to do that for the winches actually. That took like 2 days, like polishing like a lot of like these parts, because
like removed all the grease from between the gears that was like really old, and then like removing also rust with like acid and like scrubbing it and stuff like that.
It took a while as well to figure all this. Like we had to learn.
We're probably gonna have to do it again this year. I turned them and like
I saw it as well the other day. And after we've done all this fixing stuff, then like we were okay. Like I think we're good to go. Like we took the boat like
for a spin.
We tested the engine. We took the boat for a spin, and like that when we did that, I think we were like, okay, like, we can go. Like this stuff works. Like we set the sails up and down. Like this is good. We can go. And then we just went to the supermarket.
Okay, that was.
And then like bought, I don't know how much. Like it was like
$1,000 worth of food
in Guatemala, which is like a lot. It's like 3 cars.
Like we still have food. We have like.
I don't know where, but like we still have we have cans of food from Guatemala. Still. That's
amazing.
Like ridiculous. Like this table, like to the top here, like full of like cans and like just like rice and stuff, and like just a lot of food. It's incredible how much 4 guys eat in like some days. And filled up the like with fuel,
water,
and then started to go like
And then where we were in Hudusa is like, I think 50 miles inland, so it's like 50 miles inside the river, and then like to get out, like you go through like it looks like it's a rainforest. It is the rainforest, and it's a big river, so you just like it's meandering like that. You see like big trees and like animals and stuff like that. And you have like the local people have their houses on the rivers, and they look really cool. It's like with thatched roofs and stuff like that, all out of wood, like on stilts. And so we just like went down the river like cruising, and then there's a big lake at one stage with a lot of wind, and then we arrived at like a what's it called again, something
Fuego or something.
It was like a little bay in like it wasn't mangroves, I don't know what it was, but it was like a really small bay. There was like a few other sailing boats there, and like some houses. And like it was one of the most beautiful places that we went on this trip. I think
it's just like imagine like being
videos.
Like a sailboat like in the middle of the jungle on a river. Like that's kind of
amazing.
a just surreal experience, because you normally think I'm gonna be in the ocean or it's like open space. No, you're in the middle of the jungle, and it's.
Were you able to sail, or did you need to use your motor?
Most of the time the engine, because of like just the wind was not favorable. But when we were at the lake, that's like the first time we actually sailed.
What do you mean the lake? Like the river like comes to a bigger.
So like there's a massive river, a lake called Lake Izabal, which is way inside. Like that's the end. Or the start of the start of the river, like so. Okay, this is a really inland, big lake, and then Hudusa, the city, like this big town where the boat was, is really close to the lake, and then you have to like to go to the ocean. You have to go down the river, and then there's another lake, much smaller, but it's still very, very big. Like it took us like maybe 4 hours to cross it or something like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like 30 miles long or something like that. And then at the end there was like the little bay where we stayed, and then to leave the last bit of the river, you have to go through a gorge, like a canyon.
Yeah. It's like the jungle, like 30 meters.
No, way higher than 30 meters, man. Way higher.
Probably, maybe. Like, it's massive. Like, you just feel like a tiny little ant.
And then you go through this thing, and then you come out in...
Livingston. Just the
pirate
dodgiest
capital.
town in the world. Like, incredible. Like, it is like a cartel town. Like, it is.
Yeah.
It's like...
But also historically, like, it was... That city was founded by pirates. And I think government never really reached there. You know, they have that vibe. Like we had to do the checkout process there, and like you have to talk to one guy, and like everyone who knows who the guy is, and like John from the marina and Hidusa also gave us the contact, and I called him like, hey, we want to do the checkout. What time can I go there tomorrow? He's like, yeah, come here, but come straight to the office. Like, don't dally around. Just like come to the office. And then I did, like, in that meantime, like, Patrick and Ferris, what did they do? They went to buy...
Like, soap. We needed to buy soap.
Yeah, okay, they needed to buy soap. Like, soap.
Okay.
Like normal soap. So they went to the store, but then, like, they walked around the town. And it's like, everyone there is trying to hustle you that, like, they want to sell you, like, weed. They want to sell you cocaine. They want to, like...
sell like everything.
Something. They want your money. Like everyone wants your money. And then like I had to go to a bank, like a ATM. But it was really far, and then the guy gave me a ride on the motorbike, and like I went through like the entire city, like town, on the motorbike. Went to like the ATM. He said, just grab the money and then come quick. I think.
let's go.
But like. Man, we arrived there I entered the town, and I was like, I do not feel very good here. You know, like it's like dodgy.
You felt something.
Yeah. And at the meantime, Philip was on the boat.
Fuck, I was alone on the boat, and like we had anchored in a spot, and it's just like the mouth of the river. So there's like a lot of current, but there's also wind from the ocean. So like the anchor like didn't really grab well on the soil. So like. I was dragging, the boat was just moving. I was like, oh fuck this, and like they were all like down, they were taking forever. So like started calling them. I was like, yo, I need some, like, can you guys just do it quick? Like we're dragging and stuff like that. And then I had to like pick up the anchor by myself, like turn on the engine, pick up the anchor, like try to find a new spot to anchor. Like I ran aground, like because it was like super shallow everywhere, and then I had to like get out of this place and find somewhere new. And meanwhile they were like arriving. It was like it was just very stressful getting out of Guatemala.
And it was like also the first time like Philip did everything alone on this boat. Like like never sailed the boat alone. Like never did.
Yeah.
Like anchoring was like also the first time. Like one of the first times we actually anchored was when Philip anchored and then re-anchored the boat. Like
by myself.
Yeah, it was like stressful. It was like a lot of wind and like no one's there. It's like
and it's everywhere in this river was like super shallow, and like the current was so strong that like if I leave the helm to go like put the anchor, you move, like already moved. Like exactly. So this was like leaving like Livingston and Guatemala, and when we left. We needed to leave with high tide because it was just like super shallow to leave this river mouth, and it was like at 5 in the morning or something like that. It's like super early. And when we left, of course, like there's no proper maps or like channel to get out of the river.
Like
so of course we ran aground again.
No, the guy, he gave us like a screenshot from like Google Maps and like drew a line. Okay, this is where you should go. I was like, bro, okay.
Yeah, that was horrible. And we could just see like the waves like kind of breaking in one side, and on the other side we were like, okay, this is more or less where we have to go. Yeah. But even then, like there was like some bigger waves coming from the ocean, and like when we were at the bottom of the wave, like. Once like we hit the bottom
a few times, like dragged the bottom.
And this was like maximum height. It was like the full moon, like
height, like neeps, I think, which is like when the tide is higher than normal.
Yeah.
And then like at one stage we were like, oh my god, like we're actually like grounding here. Like I told, like I was on the helm and like controlling the speed. Like I told all of them to like go on like on the
side of
the
boat,
boat, like lean out, like lean the boat.
Yeah.
And like then we got out.
Yeah.
Did you damage the what do you call it?
No. This
It's super tough.
this boat is a tank. Like it's
it's like, and like the soil is also like very fine.
Yeah, it's like
it's
mud.
Yeah.
But then like after this, leaving Guatemala, and then it was like 36 hours of pure pain.
It was
Pain, horrible.
Really
Really, like it was the worst like kind of sailing that I've ever done, I think.
Yeah.
Because we thought that we were gonna have favorable winds, like the wind predictions that we saw like on the apps that we can see weather from, like was like like decent amount of wind from a good angle, and we're like okay, and then the wind was like a lot stronger. There's huge waves because it's everywhere there is kind of shallow, so the waves like they're very sharp, and like we have some videos you can see how like insane that was. Like
That was when you left Guatemala in the ocean.
Yeah, we were in the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like we had 36 hours of pure like misery. Like and the boat like was new like for us. Like we were figuring out every boat sails a bit different. So like we
didn't know exactly how
what kind of sails we have, like different sails that we can use, and we're like not using the ideal ones for that kind of weather. And then there was like also a lot of water coming in through like the windows, and then we had to like honestly like run around the boat with like putty epoxy, like it's like a little like clay, and then just like put it on the windows where it was leaking, and also in the front of the boat there was a lot of water coming in through the anchor chain, and we didn't know that like that was coming in, and so. Like when after these 36 hours of horrendous sailing conditions,
we were like, oh my god, like we hadn't eaten as well because like no one wanted to cook because everyone was seasick. Because like the first time you go sailing after a long time, like you get seasick.
Especially like with the
waves, with the conditions we had, it was like it was
pretty bad.
Horrible. And also the water tank, because it's out of steel and it's like it's old, it rusts over time, and then like we had a lot of rust in the water, and like when we were
in your drinking water.
Yeah. But when we were drinking the water in Guatemala, it was fine because all the rust was at the bottom. But when the boat was moving around, like it stirred it up, so it was literally like it looked like a tea, you know. But it's
like brown,
it's iron,
proper brown,
and
like,
it's not okay. It's not bad for you to drink it. Like you won't die, and it's not like you get sick. Like eventually, it's just like
your body filters iron out. Like, it's fine. Like.
But it tasted horrible, and like everyone was feeling kind of weird, and like it's like, oh my god, we need to fix this. Like we need to stop. Like we
rest,
need to rest and sleep. Like we hadn't slept as well because another thing, this boat has a wind vane, which is an autopilot that works with the wind. It's mechanical, so there's no electronics, and
we didn't know how to use it.
We didn't know how to use it.
So we had to hand steer for 36 hours.
Yeah.
And then we would do like shifts of like 2 hours each.
No, it was 3 hours each.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck it. Like honestly, after
that
was tough. Like with a lot of wind, like we have like
then,
it's
looking.
Actually, like it's not so bad because like it's not super heavy.
Fun, but
like you have to kind of like stare at an angle because like you're looking at the angle of the wind on the sails and stuff like that. And yeah, that was tiring. Like. And so we're like hungry, tired, dehydrated, and you're like, fuck it, like
the boat was like full of water.
It's like we gotta stop. And then the closest place we could, it was in.
There's like a reef in Belize. Like there's like a small entrance you can stay that's like protected by an island.
But like
So you sailed for 36 hours straight without anchoring, without stopping anywhere. You just
went straight. Yeah. And we just trying to like because we wanted to leave Guatemala and go straight to the Bahamas. But then
it's
like
11 days.
Yeah. But then we were like, we have to take a break, and then to fix things and like reset because that was not a good start.
It's not a good start, exactly.
So we stopped in Belize, and like normally you have to do like a bunch of paperwork, and like we stopped illegally in Belize because.
Not illegally. We raised a yellow flag.
Yeah, okay.
Never illegal.
That's true. That was
we're a boat in distress.
We were in distress, taking on water.
Yeah, we had our whole story. but it was. I think it was like a legit reason.
Yeah,
like, we were legit there.
Yeah.
But like if the Navy came in and like asked of our papers, I would just said like
we were
distress.
taking water and stuff. But yeah, we anchored. Really beautiful spot.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, like so we
Yeah.
arrived in the it was like lunchtime or something like that,
Yeah.
and then
Made a massive pasta.
yeah,
Like
We
put
put all
everything, all the stuff that was like wet,
wet
like we put
outside.
outside to dry,
washed our clothes,
and then started fixing
it,
like stuff.
pumping out water. We had like 300 liters inside the boat, like of
Oh,
water
wow.
that came in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did you fix the water tank?
No, we just had to
we
wait
didn't.
for
Yeah,
the-
we had to
to
wait for the
settle.
rust.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but every time like the boat like moved a lot. For the first few trips, like it was bad.
Yeah.
But after a while, like eventually we pumped it all out.
Yeah.
Now like the water's fine.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Uh,
But we also had to fix at the very front of the boat. There used to be like a hatch,
Yeah.
and like the water was like, the wave would hit the boat, go over the boat, and then it would like go up the hatch and then down at the very front. And so we had to close that with like with silicone
Sikaflex,
and
yeah.
like stuff
Yeah.
like that. So just after doing those jobs, like it was all good. And then like we left Belize and it was like super smooth sailing.
yes,
it was like
it was amazing.
perfection. It was amazing. Like
It's the best ever because also there's a really strong current, the Gulf Stream. I think it starts there and then it sort of goes up along the coast of North America. But so we had like 2 knots of currents in favor, and like we had like 10 knots of wind, like on a really good angle, and like the ocean was completely flat.
Oh,
and we were
amazing.
fishing
We were
like
fishing,
every
catching
like
fish.
every day we could like catch like as much fish as we wanted. Really.
Yeah,
we
honestly-
we had to stop fishing because like we couldn't, of course, you couldn't put everything in our fridge. Our fridge is tiny, but like we just couldn't eat that much fish. Like
Yeah.
it was incredible. Like and we just got like a bunch of dorados.
Yeah,
some
like listening to
tuna.
music outside, just like in the
Drinking some
afternoon,
rum.
having some rum, some like beers that we brought with us.
Yeah.
And just,
That was like highlight.
yeah, that was really
so
good. And then we were thinking about stopping in
Cozumel
Cozumel,
in
to-
Mexico.
I don't know why. I just to like break up the trip because we didn't want to do it straight. Because like again, we were getting used to the boat. Like we still didn't know if there was any big problems or stuff like that. So
Yeah.
we like let's take it slow. But then because the wind was so good and we were doing like such a good like heading, like we were aiming for Cuba, which was exactly what we wanted because you have to round Cuba like from the top. Then we said, let's just continue, and I think we made the right choice because we sailed like
because then the weather got bad. Like,
we sailed like I was halfway through Cuba, like
close
the
to
island,
Havana.
and then the weather got bad again.
And it was
It was like then we had winds against us,
Mhm.
and because we were going with the current and the wind was against the current, it creates like really choppy seas. And so the boat was rolling a lot. The wind was really bad, so we couldn't we wanted to go to the Bahamas, but we couldn't aim towards the Bahamas, so we had to like tack. And it's really exhausting because like
You have to
physically and mentally.
zigzag.
you
Yeah.
have to like 3 a.m. you have to do like you have to change course.
Yeah.
I understand.
Maybe it's good to like detail like how we did our day by day on the boat, because like we sail like 24/7, like the whole, like we don't stop, and so we have like watches. You did from midnight until 3 a.m. I did from 3 a.m. until 6 a.m. And then Faris did 6 a.m. to 9, and then my older brother did 9 to 12.
And then
And then the afternoon we like
someone
continued.
was awake,
Yeah.
like but then we started again from 9 to 12.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's how like there's always someone awake and someone steering and like looking out for ships, and
Especially at night, it's more
Yeah.
important. And then during the day, in the afternoon, like most of the times, you sleep like I used to sleep like 6 to max like 8 hours, depending on the situation. And then so you just stay outside in the afternoon and then
and just chill, like
Mm.
read a book and stuff like that.
just so
Yeah.
vibe outside.
Vibe.
again.
Yeah, just like
Literally.
I honestly, I think considering the entire length of the trip, I think I probably spent like a day and a half, like counting all the hours, just staring at the ocean, like
Yeah.
just staring.
It's just like it's so nice.
so beautiful. Like
You don't have to do anything, but you're doing something, so you don't feel like you're doing nothing because like you're actually moving. You're going somewhere. Like you know, there's a mission and it's being accomplished. So you feel good, like just like sitting there doing nothing. You're still doing something, you know. Like
it's
so
amazing. It feels like an amazing feeling.
It is. It is like honestly, like if you can get the opportunity to like go sailing and just like look out the ocean, it's the best. Like I think I love it.
And like, yeah, if you don't get seasick as well, then you can just like read books. And like I don't think nowadays like you're always kind of in a hurry. I think like we're always like trying to absorb all this information. Like I don't know, with whatever you work, there's like maybe Instagram, YouTube videos, like Twitter, like all this so much information, and it's like, but like you never really have some time to like kind of lay off a bit. And then when you're sailing, like of course you're not connected to all these things, so you just have really time to like reflect about like life in general, just like have like meaningful conversations with the people around you, and I don't know, just play games, read books, and it's just a very nice lifestyle. I think it's just like I don't see how I can get very stressed. And like of course like there's big things that like you have to think about, like the weather, and like, you know, if there's a storm coming, you have to prepare yourself, and it's of course stressful. But like you know, you have the kind of, it doesn't happen from like 1 minute to the next, right? Like it's like it can be quite like intense, but like most of the time you see like a big weather system coming, you're like, okay, like what are the decisions I can make? Or say, okay, there's an island here, maybe I can stop there, or maybe I can like go here, and then the storm I don't think will hit me, and like you can make all of these strategies like throughout your day, and then like once you've decided on one, there's like no more reason to stress, like you've prepared, like. And I think, I don't know, that's one of the things I really like about sailing.
And you have like a lot of freedom as well. Like you choose stuff. Like if you want to go in that direction, you go in that direction. If you want to stay in one place for longer, you can stay. Of course, maybe there's some consequences, like expiring visas and stuff like that. But like, but you could like, there's, you know, it's you're free to do a lot of stuff that you want to. You also, what I really like about sailing is like you actually have like real responsibilities. Like I was assigned the captain role, so I did like most of the paperwork when we were doing immigration, stuff like that. And then like you also have to, you know, take care of safety and make sure that everyone's wearing their life jacket when, you know, you're sailing outside. Like when something breaks in the boat, for example, when we had our engine issue halfway through the trip, like there is no one else there to come and save you. You know, you can't call your dad and be like, help me.
They don't have phone signal. Like we could send emails, and like we did. Like, we said like,
our engine is screwed. Like we don't know what's going on. Like what's your
don't
idea?
tell mom.
But like, you know, you have to fix it yourself. Like so you have real responsibilities with like real consequences, and they're like immediate. You know, there's no like, you know, you didn't study for the exam and then you fail the exam and then you have to resit. Like, no, it's like, which is like, it's a consequence, but it's not like you're gonna die if you don't fix this thing. You're gonna hit a reef, you know. Like, it's not like, oh my god, I need to fix this. This is like number one priority right now, and like all my energy and my attention is on this right now. And I love that. Like, that sometimes in sailing, like I would say it's like 90% it's like great times, and then 10% is like horror. It's like absolute panic of like, holy shit, like what do we do now, because the engine's not working.
I think maybe like to give a bit more context to the story, so continuing the story of the trip, so we were halfway through Cuba, close to Havana, and because like the waves started to get bad, suddenly our engine stopped working. We didn't know what it was, and we tried like a bunch of different things.
It was losing RPMs, like it was just like waning, like it would like, you know, we normally run the engine at 2100, like 2100 RPMs, and then it's suddenly like, you know, it would like drop to 18. It was like that, and like we didn't know. Okay, it was like, what? That's so weird. Like it's losing power. Like, but
it's like probably it's not getting good amount of fuel, so we changed all the filters, like everything, and it's like,
and then it continued doing that. It's like maybe it's the air, and then we checked the air filter, and it's like it's fine. I'm like, oh my god,
we really didn't know what was going on, and we started like, okay, let's not touch, like keep it on, because we're afraid of breaking it, because if we break, it's like an expensive part of the boat. We started like, okay, let's just sail, but then that was like very difficult, because like ideally we would have motor sailed there, because like the wind was not favorable and the currents were like strong, like it was just a bad situation. And so we had to like, it was just uncomfortable for like 3 days. We were like, did like very little progress. We were just trying to get towards
Closer to Miami. Yeah, we were aiming towards Miami at that stage. Because there you can get more current in favor, so we would go faster, and then we have to only like change the angle for a bit, and then like the wind was gonna be more in favor, and then head to the Bahamas. But like, you know, the engine wasn't working. We didn't want to force the engine because we didn't know what the issue was. And then eventually we arrived at the Bahamas, and we didn't.
Maybe good to say, like we were almost hit by like a ship, like a massive ship.
Yeah, like
it was
a tanker.
Yeah, like really like by honestly like somewhat 20-30 meters were not hit by this boat, and that in the ocean like is a insanely close margin, like and like we had to like we didn't hit because I think they like were able to like change the course a bit, and we also changed the course a bit. Otherwise we would have like smacked into each other.
So that was from Cuba to Florida when you went.
Yeah, like that was like opposite to Miami.
Yeah, it was really close to Miami. There was like a lot of traffic there for like big boats.
So how did it happen?
Okay, so it was in the middle of the night. We have something called an AIS. I do not know what it stands for, but I know like it pings other boats, so you can see like the GPS, name of the boat, the direction that it's traveling, and the speed.
Yeah, the location as well.
Yeah, and the location. And our boat also has that, so other boats can see us as well. And we have an alarm set up for it, so like if a boat comes within like a 2-mile radius, that it sends like it beeps, and then we can check the map and see, okay, this boat is coming, and then like we can check if it's on a collision course or not. And then you can also like use the VHF radio to like call the person and be like, hey, look, we're in this collision course. Because we're a sailing boat as well, we have the right of way. But the alarm beeped, like, I don't know. It beeped, and then like, but we saw the boat, like we saw it, and it was not on a collision course. We were like traveling. I'll do like this. We're like traveling like this, and the boat was traveling like this. So it was within like, it was gonna be within a 2-mile radius.
But I think they changed course and we changed a bit as well, because we were sailing with the wind
okay. But first, like the alarm went off, and we're like, oh, okay, that we're like traveling on a parallel course, and we're gonna be close to each other, but not like 2 miles is like, it's quite a lot, so it's okay. So we like turn off the alarm, and then later at night, maybe we don't know exactly what happened, but we think the wind shifted, and because we had the wind vane on. It
changed our course.
It changed our course, and the ship. We also think that it changed its course to go into towards Miami. But the guy never talked to us on the radio. Like he knew where we were because he saw us in the AIS probably, and
the ship was coming from behind, so you're not often looking back. So
sure.
Yeah, and then at some point, like Patrick was outside. He was on watch. Like
we were sleeping.
We were all sleeping, and like I just remember waking up with like hearing the honk of the ship, and like I was in this bed, and like in 3 seconds I was outside, and like I just see this like black wall with like the lights on top, and like my brother like pushing the rudder with all his might, and then like the ship like it was doing a really sharp turn, so it was like leaning a bit like that.
It was insane.
Like,
it was intense.
Shit.
Like I've never woken up so fast in my life. I think like when I heard the alarm when it went off, because like I was sleeping where like you were sitting, and like when I heard the honk, like I was like, that's it, bro, like we're getting run over, because like it's like so loud, and like this beast is like this, it shakes like everything around it, like
you can feel like the vibrations from the engine, like
on our boat.
Yeah.
Like, it was horrible. Like, it was
and then like I immediately went to the radio and like
you idiot!
You're like, what the fuck? You're running us over? What the hell? Like and then like the guy he can't. I'm not exactly sure if he can't say that he was like wrong on the radio, because like it's all recorded and stuff like that, so he can get reported and like lose his job and stuff like that. So. But he did mention that he sort of apologized in the way that was possible to apologize, that he screwed up, because he could have talked, like he could have called us in the radio and be like, hey, what's your intention, like to us. I mean, we could have also called him, so like.
But it's like his like we're a tiny boat and a massive boat, and he like those big ships, like they can't change course very easily, like not at all really, like they really need a tugboat to change direction properly. So like that's why like. like it was his responsibility to call us and say, hey, like what up? Like, are you guys sleeping? He's like, what is it going on? Like, we're gonna hit.
Yeah,
and like he didn't do anything. And
like I think I mean we screwed up from that. We didn't like
pay attention,
pay closer attention to the boat. But the guy also screwed up that, you know, like he didn't talk to us or like, you know, check the radar or his AIS to see if there were any boats close by.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Thank God he honked.
Yeah. Like I don't like, it was really close. I don't know if like it would have like rammed straight us, but like definitely
even to touch
you. It
like,
was gonna like do so much damage.
Yeah,
like if they got any closer, it's gonna do damage. Like,
yeah, that's true.
After almost getting hit by this boat, then it was like another 2 days until we got to the Bahamas.
Yeah,
and we had to anchor without the engine, of course, because
we had no engine.
But that was pretty smooth.
Yeah, it worked fine.
And then it was paperwork.
Yeah, and then it was, oh my god, man, we got like.
Yeah, that was horrible because like it was COVID.
Scammed by the Bahamian government.
Yeah,
no, it wasn't. But like, but we like the place where we arrived is like a really like high end resort area from the Bahamas.
Like sport fishermen like go there from the US.
Yeah,
because it's like from Florida to there is like maybe 3 hours by speedboat. It's like pretty close.
Yeah.
So they just go there to refuel and then go fishing. And so, but we were there and we needed to like fix a bunch of stuff, especially our engine, so we had to buy spare parts, buy food, some other equipment we needed new jerry cans for like to add more fuel and stuff. We needed to like reprovision because we were like already 12 days at sea, so we needed to go in town, buy some stuff. But before we could do all of that, we had to get like COVID tests. But we arrived on a Saturday, and of course it's island, so no one works on a Saturday, Sunday, and Monday was like holiday. So it was like, so we had to stay another 3 days
on the boat. We couldn't go on land.
Couldn't do anything.
So, but we spent on the we had stuff to do on the boat.
Yeah, we ended up just preparing, fixing, cleaning stuff.
Yeah.
So just to get the timeline, so how long was this since you left Guatemala? Since you left the river? Like how long was the trip?
12 days.
12 days.
Oh, just 12 days from Guatemala to
and all that happened. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Shit.
No, but I think that was a very eventful start. Afterwards, it got a bit chill. Like in the Bahamas, like we just spent a lot of time like hunting parts to fix this engine.
Yeah.
And we had to.
Did we spend like 2 days doing that? We had the car. No, we had the car for 1 day.
Yeah.
We did everything in 1 day.
Yeah. We were like trying to be as efficient as possible.
Yeah. Where we like went to the supermarket and bought the spare parts like in 1 day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like first of all we had this like we had to wait 3 days so that we can get like the COVID test, and then like it was like
$300 to get
per person to get a COVID test, like
fucking ridiculous. And it was like there's no option, right? You can't just like I'm not gonna do it because it's $300. It's like, okay, then get out of the country. Like,
I can't. No, I mean,
that's
Ferris
a
was
racket, man. That's yeah.
Yeah, no, it was.
And we were like 12 days on a boat. Like that's perfect quarantine, you know. It was like there was no arguments here. Like, it was just fucking
so okay, so we had to pay it. It hurt, but so once we had that, we started like hunting for parts. Like we rented the car. We went into town. We grabbed we did like a huge shopping again, like for food and stuff.
Yeah.
We bought
like
spare parts.
When we bought food, it was always for like months.
Yeah.
Like we were planning like, okay, let's buy food here until all the way to
the Azores or something.
We were like thinking Rotterdam because the next destinations were Bermuda, which we know everything is super expensive in Bermuda, and then it was Azores, and we were like not sure what to expect of the Azores. And I was like, okay, like let's just buy guarantee the food here, and so we like stocked up properly. Like,
and when we buy food, it's not like veggies and stuff. Like we buy veggies, but it's mostly like canned stuff, like stuff that will last for a long time.
Yeah, dried goods,
stuff like that. And then we bought stuff. We refueled, and then the engine was we still hadn't fixed the engine.
No, we cleaned some some pipes, and we put in a new
a wrecker filter.
Yeah,
which is a type of like fuel filter.
And then we turned on the engine and started working. It was like fuck, okay, that was it. You know, it was this old Racker filter which was like
The problem.
And then we we can go enjoy the Bahamas for the next 6 days, because that's when the weather is not good for us to go to Bermuda. And so we're okay, let's go sailing. You know, let's go enjoy the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And then we leave. Really, like we motor for like 3 hours.
No, but like you have to put it in context. Okay, so Bahamas is basically like a massive reef with like sand in the middle, and then like where we were. Like there was like you want to get within the ring of reefs, so like just imagine big like circle with reef, and then like it has little entrances where you can go through the reef and inside, and inside is like 3 meters or to like 5 meters deep, like sand bottom, and has all the nice
and
little
super
islands.
clear, like a swimming pool.
Yeah, like it looks
clear.
like a massive swimming pool. It's really beautiful, and close by there was like a little pass, but like I knew, like I looked at the chart and it was like 2 meters deep. Like, and the thing is with the chart, normally it shows like the depth at the lowest tide. So it's like at 2 meters, and this boat has like 1.9 meter draft. So it's like, okay, so we just go on high tide, we can pass through this place.
Easy.
Bingo, let's do it. Like it was really close as well. Otherwise you had to like sail a bunch, and then like, and it was against the wind, and there was like a lot of waves outside. I was like, I don't know, let's just go through here. And then like we went through there, and then like the engine was working, which was really nice. And we're like, okay, let's go through there. And then we're like halfway through. It was like the shallowest part, and then like the engine starts to like do the RPM, like the RPM was varying again. So I was like, oh fuck, the problem isn't solved. And then like we like touched bottom again, like we were like grinding. So
again, we had to.
Everyone was on the side again. Like the engine was like, I was like, oh fuck, please just make it.
Let's get through this place, and it's like with current. It's like not a good spot to like, because like if we dragged, if the wind would blow us to the side, we would end up on the shallow reefs.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my god, let's just please just hold on. And then it was just like, okay, so we like managed to like motor for like the next 30 minutes. The engine's like, I was like, oh, fuck.
And then,
but we made it through.
And then put up the sails.
Yeah, and then we turned off the engine. And, like we said,
started
okay,
sailing.
we gotta. Engine is still fricked, so we have to fix it. But at least
then
we can go sailing inside Bahamas.
And then we just like started sailing, and then we went to one little like until it got like, late afternoon, but like the sun was setting, and then we anchored. Made like, I think we had caught a fish, and then we like made like fish wraps. We always made fish wraps. I think that was the snapper was the next day, and then we were like on this little island, and we were like swimming in at night just to like take a shower.
Yeah, we should explain this. We don't have a shower inside the boat, so when we want to take a shower, we like grab like a bucket. We grab like salt water, like we wash ourselves, like douse ourselves with the salt water
and like soap, and
then like you put
shampoo,
soap, and then you like remove that with salt water. And then we had like this like 3-liter Gatorade bottle where we like made little holes on the lid, and then just like squeeze like fresh water, and then like take off the salt with that. And that's how we showered. So like when we were like anchored at a place, like to take a shower, we just like jump in the water, get out, put like shampoo and soap, and then jump back in, and then like just rinse with the fresh water. And so that's like the daily routine to take a shower.
And in the Caribbean, like it's a bit like, especially in Bahamas where we were, it's quite a lot of like sharks and stuff. So like jumping at night, it was like it's not like they're not gonna bite you, but like you're just there, like you went swimming and you saw the sharks, and you're like, what am I doing here? But it was like
I was like, who's gonna jump first? And like you jump, like you stay like 2 seconds inside the water, just like come out like. So it's like so funny, like to see everyone taking a shower, like everyone's like scared, like just jump inside, come outside really quickly. It's
kind of intense. But so we did this like kind of island hopping for like 3 days.
Yeah, until we got to Green Turtle Key.
Spanish Key.
Oh yeah.
Because then in Spanish Key, super beautiful place, and it's one of the spots in the northern Bahamas which didn't get too damaged by the hurricane. So the corals are all very good still. So we went there, like we went spear fishing there, and we caught like some fish, and then we cooked it on the beach. Yeah,
we made like a beach barbecue with we caught like a conch, which is like a
collected a shell.
It's a big shell. Yeah. It's like a classic shell, like but it has like a snail inside, and it's really tasty. And you make like a ceviche. You just like cut like the eyes and the mouth, and then you like just cut it into small pieces, put lemon, like paprika and stuff like that, and it tastes like really sweet, like almost like a coconut sweet.
It's like it's a mix between like calamari and coconut, like blended together. Like,
and you eat it raw?
Yeah.
And
it's so good. It's really good.
It's called a conch salad. It's like a Bahamian thing, and it's really really nice. So we made that, and then we made like the fish. Like a small snapper and a hogfish. Like made a fire on the beach, cooked it up, and
just had rum.
Yeah,
it was like high life.
Yeah, like, when we were looking for parts, and we went to a store, and you know those like camping chairs. Yeah, those classic camping chairs. Yeah. I saw one. I looked at Philip. It was like
$70, and we're like,
fuck. I looked at it. And I was like, man, but it would be really nice to have one. And like I told him, Philip, imagine we're on a beach. And then I set it up, and I sit down
and have a beer.
Like, that's priceless. And then like
that's worth the $70.
Yeah, and then I said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna buy it." And I did that on the beach, and I opened up the beer, and I said, "Priceless."
It was so good. Like, it was
one of the best things like I bought. Like I was literally amazing.
We use it every day as well to just sit outside. So after Spanish Key, where we went fishing and had all this nice barbecue, like we were kind of heading towards a place called Green Turtle Key, because we knew there was like a very good mechanic there. Like it was like some other boaters like that go often to this place in Bahamas. They're like, oh, if you have mechanical problems, like go talk to him.
Yeah. How did you find out?
Just like talking to people.
Okay. Just the guy from Green Turtle. I don't know his name, but he's so funny. I
have him on WhatsApp. Like I send messages to him sometimes.
Yeah.
The guy from where?
The mechanic from Green Turtle.
Oh, the guy.
And he's like a proper mechanic. Like he has like these huge hands, and like of course like part of his finger is missing. He's like a proper mechanic. And he was an absolute legend. Like
we only talked to him through the phone. Like we met his wife.
We met him.
We met him too. Yeah, we met him too. That's true. Yeah, that's how we know he didn't have it. But we first met his wife who had like a convenience store like in this like tiny town
wrecked by the hurricane.
Yeah, but like it was like I don't know, maybe like 40 square meters, and they sold like a bunch of different things. It was like food, but also like boat parts and
fishing equipment.
Yeah, it's like a tiny like small village convenience store where you can find anything, right?
Like engine filters.
Yeah, and we talked to her, and she was like, no, he's doing another job, but here's his phone. Like, talk to him, like call him, and let him know that you met me, and then he'll help you guys out. And then he first like asked us like to send like a video of the engine, like and like he said like check this, check that, check this. And then we did, like we had to tighten the alternator belt, and then we did a bunch of things, and we still had the problem. And then he said, man, it has to be something with the fuel. Like just check all the hoses again, check all the filters again. It has to be something with the fuel. And then alas, like we opened one of the fuel hoses, like we disconnected it. And at some point, like I don't know what I did, but like I tapped it, and like a bunch of like rust came out, like a bunch of rust filings came out, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
And that was it.
That was
the
it.
problem.
Like we had like a clogged hose.
And we like there was like 2.5 weeks of like headaches,
troubleshooting, like, and I thought it was something to do with the fuel injectors, and like that's like literally the most expensive part of the engine, and like I watched a bunch of YouTube tutorials on how to check if your fuel injector is wrong.
And like we have like some very like good books here like explain how you like jerry rig everything, like how to fix the engine,
troubleshooting and stuff like that.
We read this book cover to cover, like trying to figure out like what this problem was. And like
there's like one stage where like, and it's something I learned, like you use like a screwdriver and you put it like against the injector and you touch the screwdriver against your head so you can hear like the actual injections. And then like if it sounds like a certain way, then you probably have a problem there. So like at one point, like the engine was on, I was there with this thing, and Philip looks at me, is like, "What the hell are you doing?" It's like, no, there's a method to this madness. You know, there's the reason.
Yeah.
But basically, I mean, in hindsight, like it was a really easy thing to fix, but it was really good for me because like now I really understand this engine. Yeah. Like I opened basically almost everything that I'm like confident that I can open and not screw it up. So it was really good for me to learn about the engine.
I think like after this whole like episode, I think I gained a lot of confidence on like us being able to sail this boat. Yeah, because up till then, like I have to be quite honest. Like I didn't feel like we were gonna be able to make it to Europe. I thought that was like,
and that's not like we were gonna sink somewhere or die.
It was just like I think we like had bitten off more than we could chew. Like because like the engine is not working. You're like for 2 weeks not able to fix it. It's like you start doubting yourself, and then there was like to start off there was water coming in the boat, and so you're like all these doubts are like,
and we were in a rush. We didn't know if we could make it in time. Like
and there's like hurricane season, so it was like all like kind of these stress. I was like constantly like doubting myself, and like I wrote a journal like for the trip, and like like in this first like several like chapters of like the days, and it's like you can see like I'm like pretty like I'm doubting myself if I can do this. Like I was constant, and like
we even talked about it in Bahamas.
In the Bahamas, like that was the first time, and like in the first
we talked about the different scenarios. Like okay, like if it takes us longer than we can to fix the engine, like because we can't go to Bermuda without an engine, because like you need it's like safety. It's like wearing the seatbelt. You need a seatbelt in a car. To like
you need an engine in the car.
Okay, even worse. Like in this case, well, I mean, we can use the sail, So, but like if you want to enter a harbor or a marina, you need the engine. So we're like, if it takes us long to fix this, like
where do we put the boat?
Do we leave it in Bermuda, like for like Plan C, or we leave it in the Azores for Plan B? Or like leave it in Spain, like we were like thinking of like the different scenarios and like what it would entail, like if you like hire like a guy to come and like take the boat for us, like while we could
or do we just sell the boat, like
so we were like having a bunch of these questions and like, oh my god, like trying to figure out like what to do, like, and if we can make it in time. But then like we fixed the engine, so we're like, oh god damn, thank God, like
so that was like
a big, plan A is still in action.
That was a big relief, I think.
That
was like that was massive. Like.
And then after that,
we had like once you fixed the engine.
Oh yeah,
we went out hard. Like, we went like we were just in Green Turtle Key, and like there was like a bar called Pineapples. We went there, and like me and Alex, we were like absolutely like disgusting, full of grease. Like
we hadn't like.
We hadn't eaten, like we were like we were fixing this engine the whole day. We were like sweaty with diesel and like oil in our clothes, and we went out to this bar, and like Patrick and Ferris, like of course we were all very happy, like we fixed the engine, like we were good to go.
Let's
and so like
party,
we were just like had a bunch of like drinks and like got absolutely hammered.
It was like a fruit punch. I don't know what it was. It's just like alcohol. Ice cold, sweet, and a lot of alcohol. And like we just like they kept the like Ferris and Patrick just kept bringing them to the table. We were like having a lot. We ate like the local food, which was really really good.
And there was like like a hen party, like a bachelorette party, and so there's like also like just a bunch of girls there, and like and we ended up going to like a club, and like this is like mid-corona, and like we were like pretty isolated for like many weeks, like we were just by ourselves, like just the four of us,
4 boys living in this like tiny place, and then like
suddenly there's like they're in a club with a bunch of girls,
like also like different like American families with like just like really cool people, like the mother who like
like she kept sending emails to us
while we were sailing, because like I think they were also sailors. I don't know what they were. But like the guy was also he has like a survival story, like his boat capsized in the middle of like between Miami and Bahamas, and like he like survived like by hanging onto the boat for like 30 hours or something like that.
Oh
like,
my god.
And like his friend like was thinking about like swimming to the US, is like 20 miles away, and he's like don't do it, like, and they ended up like surviving because they hung onto the boat.
Crazy.
So we talking to them. Their daughters were like super cool girls as well. And then like we met some locals before, like on the way to Pineapples, because someone had bought a house.
No, they had just like finished fixing the house from the hurricane, so they had like a house. There was a housewarming party.
Did you go?
Yeah, we went to this housewarming party.
And then afterwards, like after Pineapple, we were going towards where like the club was, and then we passed by the guy the place, and he's like, "Hey, they come have drinks," and we were like having drinks with the locals, and they were serving, I don't know what it was, but it was something
intense.
It was intense as well. Yes, and then at some point, like these American girls, they had like a golf cart.
Yeah, I think so.
And so we were just like hitched a ride with them to the party, and then like we had like a really good time at the party, and
we came back to the boat absolutely wrecked, and then the next day we went to the other what's it called, Old Harbor, New Harbor, I don't know, to another place where we were gonna do
a bigger city.
We were gonna do a checkout and like do a final supermarket run to head towards the Bermuda. Yeah, and then we started. So after all of this in the Bahamas, we like found a good weather window, like to go.
In hindsight, kind of bad weather window. It was like
there's some storms coming, like they were hitting the Bahamas, but like they were like smaller storms.
Yeah. And the angle was favorable for the entire trip, but like the day we left Bahamas. Like we left like midday, and at night we started like seeing like thunderstorms and lightning, and like, oh, God damn it.
Just like you leave and it's
like, the meme, like here we go again, like the guys like it was like that, and like and then so we had strong winds most of like half of the way to Bermuda,
but also you have to say like to go to Bermuda, the best way to go is not in a straight line, but it's you go like west to the United States, and like you go
with the Gulf Stream,
which is like it's a very, very strong current, like that is like more or less like 10 miles wide,
a bit more like 50 miles.
Yeah, it's like, anyways,
it's like the strongest in that
and it's like really, really strong. It's like three and a half knots.
Yeah.
It's like that's like we do 5 knots,
so like that's more than half of the boat speed.
Yeah, so that's like a massive improvement on our speed. So we're like, okay, let's just follow this Gulf Stream, which it goes up and then turns around and aims to, and like drop you off in Bermuda. And so we were like going towards it, and then when we were there, we had quite a lot of wind, but because we also had so much current in our favor and with the wind, like we were going super, super fast. We like did like 10 knots, like we did 10 knots consistent for like several hours, because like we were just at the sweet spot of the current and like good wave.
Nice.
So we did very fast progress.
Yeah, but it was hectic because we got like really strong winds at some point. Like with squalls, they're like big clouds with like a lot of rain and like a really strong wind for like a few hours.
Yeah, we have some videos of that.
Like, and it was like our first time with like really, really strong winds. And like at first I was like, oh my God, like as a sailor you always want to sail in good weather, because it's like. First of all, it's the nicest one. You feel better, you sleep better, you don't put the boat under pressure, so you preserve the equipment and stuff like that. So it's like it's just more relaxed, But we got the first one, and the boat handled it really well. We like reduced the sails a lot. I was steering by hand at that point because it's good to like stall the boat, like to like lose pressure so that it doesn't overpower the boat. So I was sailing by hand because it was also the first time we got a lot of wind. And then like we noticed, okay, I mean it's fine. The boat can handle it.
And we honestly we had a bit more sail than like we need. I think we didn't have the 4th reef. We had the 3rd reef only.
No, we had the 4th reef. Yeah. I remember like. Okay. And then that was like the first 3 days. There was a bunch of squalls like that, and at night as well, like. Strong winds, so
I didn't sleep so much.
What's a squall?
Yeah.
A squall is like this
big rain cloud
with a lot of wind.
Yeah.
It's
like it's a tiny storm basically. Yeah, sure. That's a good way to think about it.
Yeah.
And I don't think I slept super well those days, but like we were doing very good progress. So it was like,
how long did you take you from Bahamas to Bermuda?
9 days.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like it sounds like a lot, but like when you're sailing, like there's like the first like 3 days you're getting used to the rhythm, but after those 3 days, like everything just kind of is the same. Like every day is like just.
And then the last 2 days
take forever. The last 2 days are like a week long,
because you're like you know you're close, but you still are not there, and like it's gonna take 2 days to get there, and like you're like, oh my God, I just want to get there.
It's like a little kid waiting for Christmas to arrive. Yeah, it's kind of like the feeling, but. Yeah, but it's
but it was good as well. Like especially that part of the trip, like the last 3 days, the winds were way nicer. Like we had less wind. We didn't have big waves, and we were fishing as well.
Yeah, and we caught a huge wahoo.
We caught a big wahoo.
That was That's such a like highlight.
Yeah, that was a highlight. Like it's such a nice fish to eat.
Oh, that's so good.
It's
And
so-
we did
so-
like fish wraps like for days, like
Yeah.
just eating fish wraps and like
Nice.
No, it was
that
really
was,
good.
that was really good.
And then we arrived in Bermuda, and Bermuda is an old. I think it's still part of Britain.
I'm not. No, I think
I
it's
don't know.
its own country,
Yes,
but
maybe it's part of the Commonwealth. No,
yeah,
no, that's
it's
for sure.
it's a small it's a small island, like relatively. Yeah, it is small, and it's a nation as well, and it's very wealthy actually. Like,
yeah, they're super rich.
like yeah.
no,
it's-
but they're
yeah, like
really rich.
I had to get a cab. Like the taxi driver is like, it's like, oh, where you guys from? It's like, oh, we live in Holland. It's like, oh, that's so nice. I've been there a few times, you know. And it's like, because the taxi driver of like an island in the middle of the Atlantic is like, you know, you don't expect them to have traveled so much in Europe, but like, yeah, everyone makes like, it's very well off.
Yeah,
but everything's
It's-
fucking expensive.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to
Like-
buy like an apple, it's like $1 an apple. Like
Yeah, it's insane. Like oranges were
Yeah,
like, and
€2,
Yeah.
$2. I don't know where.
for an
Oh,
orange.
God.
Yeah. So we didn't buy much stuff there.
No.
No.
I mean, we bought some veggies because like it's the first thing that like you eat is the vegetables.
Yeah.
And it's the
Yeah.
thing that you miss the most after a while. Like it's
Yeah.
the vegetables.
Vegetables and
Um,
we also fixed our sails. Yeah.
yeah,
So our sails are like quite old,
they're like 10 years old.
and so like every time like we would raise the sail and set them down, like
It's
would
like a
rip a
little
bit.
rip.
it would rip a bit.
Oh
So
my god.
yeah, we had a pretty big rip just before arriving in Bermuda.
No. It was like after we left, because we had to sail most of the time with a reduced sail. Because we fixed it when the
yeah.
weather. Because we were waiting for the weather was bad, and like we lowered the sails, and in the process of lowering the sails,
It
it ripped, like a meter long rip, which is big. Like it's really bad. But because the wind was so strong, we were like, okay, like we can't fix it now because it was raining, it was wet, like sea spray and everything. So we're like, okay, it's fine. We don't need it now because it's strong wind, so we don't need the whole sail. We'll fix it when we have better weather. And then we had better weather, and then like I stuck the
tape,
patch
yeah.
with Patrick. But then we had to fix it in Bahamas,
Mhm.
about
Yeah.
Bermuda when we
like
got there.
properly, like with a sail maker, and like they
Yeah.
made like a good repair.
Yeah, it was nice dudes as well. Like
Yeah, those
yeah,
dudes,
that's another really cool thing
Yeah.
when you sail. Like there's a lot of like really cool people like who like they don't want to live in a big city. They don't want to do like the regular like 9 to 5 at an office. So they just like move to like these random places. I think they were an American couple. They moved to Bermuda to open a sail shop there, and they have a pretty good life there. And like they're cool people.
and like every like. So the route that we did to get to Europe is like the standard route that everyone does when
to
like,
get out of the Caribbean
to go to Europe, because it's just it breaks down. You know, you go from Bahamas, Bermuda, Azores, wherever you want to go in Europe,
Yeah.
and so everyone kind of just stops there, and a lot of people need to get their stuff repaired. So they have like pretty decent like quality like repair shops everywhere. So
Yeah.
you can find quite a lot of parts. Probably a bit
It
of
seems like the
expensive.
middle of nowhere, but actually, it's
Yeah, it's
you
just
have
like
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think this is also pretty cool to say that. So from leaving from Guatemala all the way to Bermuda, we were pretty much alone. Like it was just us, like sailing the four of us sailing the boat, and like there was no one else like kind of sailing the same route. But once we arrived in Bermuda, like there were like some 10 other boats that had this like also wanted to go from Bermuda to Azores. So there's suddenly like this big community of sailors.
They go the same way. Yeah.
They were going the same way. So like they're like discussing about different routes, the weather, and so like you go there and like we're like by far the youngest people there.
Yeah.
Like most people don't do what we did.
Yeah.
And
then we met a bunch of different cool families. Like we met Ryan and Sophie. They have like a YouTube channel, a sailing YouTube channel.
Polar Seal, yeah.
They're quite big. We met the guys from Slip Away. It was just like a family. They just recently bought a boat, and they have like 2 kids who are like 8.
No, I think 10 and 12.
10 and 12.
Yeah.
No, it's super fun. We're like really good friends with them now. Like I talk to them quite often.
Like like-minded people who are in a similar situation, and everyone's kind of in it together because like you have similar problems. It's your generator's not working, your water maker, your sails, or you want to go spearfishing together. You want to share like the fish that you caught with other people,
Yeah.
and so you end up having these meetups together, and you like share food with each other.
Or you're planning the trips as well, like the
talking
next
about
routes.
the weather, like so talking about the, but actually like planning like like this.
Should we go further north or should we stay south, or what's gonna happen like 5 days? I think this weather's gonna come from here, but then the current is like this. So like there's a lot of like strategy going on. So it's quite fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's
And this leaving from Bermuda to Azores, that's a very, very long trip. It took us 18 days to do it non-stop.
Yeah.
That's massively long. Like that's huge. Like it's incredible if you really think about it.
Yeah.
And it's a long time to be alone. Like, so what the sailors do normally if you're in Bermuda together, like they all kind of leave at the same time, because it's like you leave when the weather is the best, and so everyone kind of leaves at the same time because the weather is the best. And so we were like there for 10 boats. Some boats left a bit earlier, and then in the end we left with
we didn't leave earlier because we had some stuff to fix.
We needed to we thought we had to do an exam.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We were still like not finished with our bachelors when we were doing this, because when we were in Guatemala we had done an exam, and then we thought we had passed, but then like I was like just checking like again, had finally had internet after like 15 days, so I was like, okay, let's check up, like is everything good with university, because I need to get my get my transcripts to send to my masters to get accepted there properly. And so I looked there and I was like, there's like a grade here, it's a 0. Like, I'm like, okay, let me talk to the professor, and he's like, yeah, it's sorry, it's a 0, but like, yeah, you didn't pass, so you're gonna have to resit it. And I sent an email about this on like Monday, and there was the resit on Friday, and we're like, we wanted to leave on Wednesday. That was like the time we wanted to leave, and I was like, fuck, like what do we do? Do we just stay here, like study for 1 week? We're not gonna pass this.
Yeah, it was a really hard exam.
And so we like sent an email to our professor, like, dude, like we're in the middle of the ocean, like there's a weather window, we need to go, like it's
hurricanes,
dangerous, like we're planning on
life or death.
And so like it's like it was also like our last exam to pass our bachelor's, and so it was like, don't worry, we'll just make an assignment, and so we're like, okay, we're off the hook. So but then this was, by the time he said this, it was already Wednesday and people had left, and then we had to still prepare, like we had to refuel, get some water and stuff like that.
Sure.
And it was also good because they got a pretty bad system.
We left at the perfect time, and then so we left together with Slipaway, which was the family that was really nice, and then Skip Vatnir.
It's a Swedish couple.
And then there was
no.
Brian, but Brian is a solo sailor.
Yeah,
and he's like tiny boat, like half of our boat.
Yeah,
and he said he left a day before us.
True. But there was more boats, I think. Maybe
they left like a few days before. Anyways, but like so these 10 boats kind of like leave one before the other, and like we're in the first couple of days we're still in like radio distance from each other, so we were just like
often talk to
just say, hey, like how's it going with you guys, like did you catch any fish, or like what do you think about the weather, and like so it's like kind of like in the middle of the ocean, in the middle of nowhere, and you're just like talking to these people.
Because we talked through them with email, like the solo sailors, we emailed them every day just to check up on them and make sure
because like
it's also you get lonely, so it's nice when people are talking to you, so we're like, let's just. And it's good to know, like, it's like you have literally nothing else to do when you're sailing. Like, you read a book, watch a movie, but we only had like one iPad, so we like shared between the 4 of us, like everyone taking turns to watch the same movie. Yeah. So it was like,
and they would expire on Netflix as well. You have to like be strategic about the movies you watch.
So like reading books. So we sent off a lot of emails also.
To friends and family.
And family.
It was our birthday as well, like during this crossing.
Oh,
and then like some friends like got together a bunch of messages from other friends, and like we made like they sent like us email for like birthday email. We made a lot of pancakes and
but we.
So you say this, you didn't turn your engine on at any moment during this crossing.
Oh no, we did. Okay, so most from the start,
the first 2/3 of the trip.
Yeah, we had rough winds in like the second quarter of the trip. The first quarter was fine, and the second quarter
it was like just bad waves.
Yeah,
just like rocky,
and then the third quarter
flat.
like literally no wind, like dead calm, glassy.
And like show you in the videos, it's like incredibly flat.
Yeah, so we had to motor for 4 days straight.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But it was really nice.
That was actually pretty good because it was like sunny and like flat and cozy. It was just super. That was honestly, I think, one of the highlights for me.
I love it. Like I love sailing when there's like very little wind because it's so comfortable, you know. And then you just get to enjoy, like just relax, you know. When it's windy, you're like always stressing like about the sails, and like we had ripped the sails before, so we were like, oh my god, I hope they don't rip.
Yeah.
And then it's like shaking all the time, so it gets uncomfortable. But when the ocean is calm, then it's actually really nice.
Yeah,
and we have fishing
like
as well.
A bunch of dolphins, like so many dolphins and whales as well. Like so much wildlife and like lots of like jellyfish. And, like flying fish. Oh, we saw like that's for the first time I've ever seen like dorados or like dolphin fish, mahi mahi, like same fish, all the 3 names. But like they jump after the boat, and they really like that's why they're called dolphin fish, because they really look like dolphins when they're jumping. And we also saw like tuna like swimming next to the boat.
Yeah,
that was incredible.
We also saw like sperm whales. We saw like I think a mother and a baby.
Yeah.
Like it was the first time we saw them. It was really cool.
And that's everything you saw from Bermuda to
Azores. Yeah, so Azores is a hotspot for whales.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah, and the order of what we're saying is not exactly 100%. I don't even remember like the order of stuff. Like the days they blended.
Yeah. When we arrived at the Azores, that was like, that was beautiful. I think like it started getting cold. Like about a week before arriving, it started getting cold at night.
Yeah.
And then during the day as well. So we were just like wearing hoodies and like it was just cold. And there was we started seeing a lot more whales.
Yeah.
And then we arrived and like it was like very early in the morning. I think it was like 3 a.m. It started getting like light, and then
not that early, man. 5 a.m.
Yeah, I don't know. It just felt super early. But like no, it started getting early in my watch. But this is time zone because like we went through so many time zones, but like we kept the time from. So that's why it felt like okay.
Yeah.
So but like at a decent hour, it like started getting bright, and like you just like see this Mount Pico, which is this massive volcano. And then you just see it like from the distance, and you're like, "Holy shit, guys, land!" And you like wake everyone up, like, "Let's go!" And then there's like 10 hours to arrive still. But anyway, it was like, that was like really incredible.
Yeah.
Like, cause you're 18 days at sea, right? This is like a bit of a weird experience, and like. The boat is small, like,
and you see nothing but sea.
You see nothing but the ocean, and only like the other 3 people around you.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you see this huge green mountain, and like the smell like dirt and like
and the Azores is really beautiful. It looks like you get like a piece of the Alps and just put it in the ocean. Like it's like that. You have the same like vegetation, like like you have coniferous trees. You have like wide leaf trees. You don't have like palm trees and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's cold. It's
and you have like sheeps and cows and everything.
Crazy.
And everything's super cute. It's old, like it's from Portugal. Like so it is like very Portuguese, like the architecture and everything. So it's just very, very beautiful place, and a lot of wildlife. Yeah, like the greenery and like the ocean, like it's just like very alive.
And like shortly before like arriving into where like we were gonna anchor the boat, like we went for a swim. Like we stopped the boat in the ocean because there was like no wind. And then of course we arrive on a Saturday again, so you have to wait until Monday to do the COVID test.
Fucking honestly, now with the vaccines.
And we're like 18 days on sea, and then like you have to wait 2 extra days on your boat. You cannot leave the boat.
Oh my god!
No, but they were really nice. Like the guys from the harbor. They brought us like we could call them and ask them to bring stuff from the supermarket, so we like ordered like 2 crates of beers and hamburgers. And then we had beers and hamburgers.
That was pretty good. It was a good time also just to clean the boat, because after 18 days it just gets.
And we also had internet because we have European
like,
SIM cards, so it's like
nice.
Just like
talk to everyone. Updating everyone. That was good. Like I think it would have been too intense if we just had. After 18 days, just stepped on land immediately and not have those.
You feel seasick again.
You get seasick from staying on land. But in the Azores, it was super beautiful. Like my older brother had to go to Italy to his girlfriend's graduation. Then my cousin from Brazil, he came to Azores to come sailing with us to help us continue the trip. And so we just like we were a week there, and then we had, of course, again, fix things, reprovision.
What did we have to fix? I don't remember.
No, it wasn't much. Like, I think it was like the
no,
the pump was leaking.
The pump was leaking. I wanted to buy oil filters and fuel filters.
Yeah.
Um,
But that was it. It was not a lot. Like in Azores, like we went, like rented a motorbike and went around the island.
Yeah, just had some fun.
Yeah, exactly. Just like
we went
met up
diving
with
as
all.
well.
Yeah, we went diving, like scuba diving.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, we went spearfishing as well. We just like went out with all the other sailors who also had just done this 18-day trip,
Yeah.
and just like hung out with them and like
Yeah.
just chilled.
One day, like that was one of my favorite days in the Azores. Is like, I think 2 days before we left. Like, so that where we were, it's like there's a big breakwater.
Mm-hmm.
And there was like maybe like 30 or 40 boats anchored in this place, and it was really small. It was really close to everyone. But we ended up meeting. So someone organized a dinner on land, in a restaurant.
That's nice.
And then we had like all the sailors that were there. We had like dinner together at this restaurant. That was really nice. Like everyone who did the trip together, like telling their stories and like what happened. Because like at some point we lost contact in like radio contact with some people because they took different routes, and so we like talking about like why they chose different strategies, like what happened, because like some other people had stuff break on their boat, and like we talked just like adventure stories, like that. So we met up. We met a bunch of different sailors there, and at one point, this young German couple from Limonada, that's the name of the boat. They said like offhandedly, like, just come over to the boat for a barbecue. Like on that day, like a certain day. I was like, okay, sure. Like I don't know, like if it was like an actual invite or not. Like it was just like them being nice. But then I had this small dinghy, and I went to one of the solo sailors' boat because he wanted to check something on his rigging.
Yeah.
And then I went on his boat. And then I helped him with that, and then like we were having a couple of beers afterwards. And then the guy from Limonada, he came on the boat as well because he was on the way to do something. But then like he stopped by, and then he also had a beer, and he's like, no, come to the barbecue. I was like, okay, I'll come. And then I was like, after helping the guy, like finishing the beers and whatever, I was on my way to Limonada. And then on the way, like I saw that there was like a boat with a Brazilian flag. I was like, what? Like, let me talk to the Brazilian dudes. Like, and then I went talked to the guy, and he's like, yeah, come on board. Like, here, have a beer. Like, so then I was having a beer with him, and then like his wife like called him. He's like, oh fuck, I forgot my wife. She's like on land. Like, she went for a walk, and like she was like, bro, where are you? You can pick me up.
Classic.
And then like I said bye to him, and then I went to another boat, and then like.
And meanwhile, me and Faris, we were at Slipaway, we were babysitting the two kids. Like we were playing like some games with them because the parents wanted to have like a date night, and so like we're just like hanging out with these like 10-year-olds and 12-years playing like Warhammer and like just talking smack at each other. It was like it was really good.
Yeah, and then I ended up going to Limonada, having like a barbecue with them, like making drinks and like just having a good time,
Yeah, and it's like that's what's so nice about sailing. It's just this community, like just everyone just kind of together and wants like really open and like also again like these kids, they're 10 and 12. Like when are you gonna 24? Like when are you gonna hang out with a 10-year-old like to play some games? It's like like you're more or less in a similar situation there. I don't know. It's just. Everyone is like super open to have like these different experiences, and it just it makes you feel so good like to be part of it.
No, it sounds amazing.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And then I think the next day we left.
Leaving from the Azores, like the plan was to go straight to Rotterdam. When we were sailing, we already saw in that there was like a weather system that was gonna come down like the coast of Ireland and towards like Brest in France. And we're like, okay, like. Let's keep an eye on this, but we can go. And then we started sailing, and this weather system got really, really, really bad. Like you know those videos of like those tankers with the waves that crash over the boat, and like so it was gonna be something like that, like 7-meter waves in the middle of the ocean. And
also like the Bay of Biscay is like a well-known spot for storms, and because of the way it is and the currents, the waves get really big there, and so like. from the moment that we left Azores up until the moment that we decided to change course, like first of all, the weather was crap all the way. It was like this,
Yeah,
like
it was
rainy, gray, cold.
We just wanted to get to Rotterdam at this point. Like
Yeah.
we were also just tired of traveling. Like
Yeah.
we were like moving so much, like and so fast, like we couldn't like just relax for a bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
So like we were a bit fed up, I think. And then like
Yeah.
this whole weather system came, and we were like, can we push it and make it to France and like not like get slammed by this weather? And like
And then
we were like really like, come on, I just
we had
want to
like
get
maybe
there.
like 6 to 8 hours of like margin where we would arrive and then the storm would come, but we still had like 3 to it was 3 days until we would arrive in France, and we're like, man, like 3 days, like the weather can change completely, and then we get stuck like
in the Bay of Biscay, which is like the worst place.
and then where we wanted to get into in Brest, like there's like really strong currents, there's like small islands and stuff, like it's like a dodgy place to arrive in bad weather. And we said like, man, let's just not do it. And then we changed course and we headed to northern Spain.
yeah,
I forgot the name of the place. But it's in Galicia.
close
Yeah.
to Santiago de la Compostela.
Yeah.
So you waited
La
there.
Coruña.
La Coruña. Yeah.
Yeah, and we waited there for 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it was really nice. Like
yeah,
it was good.
We had like good, like very nice, like Galician food. Like,
yeah,
it was really
tapas.
good, like,
It was
some good sidra, and
yeah.
we just like chilled.
The place
and, like,
was really beautiful as well.
Yeah.
It smelled really nice. I don't know
Yeah.
what it was, but the trees there, like
Yeah.
they smell really good. So
Yeah,
we arrived. Like, oh my god, this place smells really good.
that was really good that we stopped there.
Yeah.
And like it was just cold and rainy and like windy because of course there's a huge storm like
Yeah.
coming. So we couldn't really enjoy like
Yeah.
that much. But like we walked around the city and like just chilled, and it was good. Did like of course always fix some stuff on the boat.
Yeah.
Refueled refilled with water
Yeah.
as well. And then like we set off from La Coruña to Rotterdam, and
we got really lucky with
yeah,
the weather.
it was
weather.
perfect. Like the first 2 days, like we had big waves from like after the storm left, but like they were like gentle, like,
Mhm.
but just pretty tall. And then like when we were getting close to the English Channel, like entering the English Channel,
The wind died.
the wind, like there was no more wind, which was amazing because
So
the
we
English
more-
Channel, like you either get wind straight from the nose, which is horrible, or straight from the back, which is not good.
Yeah.
So,
Because then the boat rolls a lot. But then you
Yeah.
also have big waves, and because of the currents, like
yeah,
it's like I'm like really happy we
Yeah.
got like no wind at all.
Yeah.
Because
So
we
we
just motored.
Straight to Rotterdam.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and we had the fuel as well because we had just fueled up in Spain.
Yeah. And then it like the weather was nice, so we're like
It was like sunny. Yeah,
So it was really
Amazing.
chill.
it was good.
And then
Yeah.
then the last day before we entered the port of Rotterdam,
That
then
was horrible again.
then it wasn't horrible, but we had strong winds.
Yeah, and like the English Channel is like filled with like fishing boats, like big container
Mhm.
ships. It's like very, very busy,
Yeah.
and also there's lots of current. So you just have to be constantly like on the lookout. And
Yeah.
like sometimes you're like going super fast because like the current is in favor, and then you suddenly stopped. Like,
yeah, there's
at
one
one
place
spot, like-
we didn't move forward for like 3 hours, like just like
you could just see like the town over there.
Yeah,
the
like,
same spot.
Oh, why? Because of the current?
yeah,
yeah,
it was like
yeah.
so strong.
Oh, that even you had your motor on, you would go.
No,
like,
no,
snail's
we were
pace.
like in
oh
the
my
same
god.
spot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, but like we saw a lot of dolphins as well.
Yeah,
That was quite
it
nice.
I think they accompanied us for like
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same group of dolphins, but we had like dolphins for like 3
Yeah.
days straight. Like
Yeah.
And
And I think
Amazing.
this is like an image I'll never forget. I don't think
that was
which
really,
is like
really nice.
so like we had this pot of dolphins like in the Bay of Biscay. They were following us all the way to the start of the English Channel, and they like there was a lot of plankton in the water. So
Yeah.
at night, like these dolphins were swimming next to us, and they were like would splash and it was like super bright. But then when they went underwater, they also agitated the water, so I could see them underwater, like
Yeah.
bright, and like they left a trail behind them. So it was like incredibly like honestly,
That
like I
sounds
tried to
amazing.
film this and like it didn't get on camera. I was like, okay,
but it's
like,
really
this
hard
is
to
something
capture
for
on
me.
camera. Like the
but
the
it-
light is really.
that was like
That
honestly
was
one of the
really-
most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Like that was incredible. Like
Yeah. And they're all chubby. The dolphins, they're really
Yeah.
small and chubby. They're really cute.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
so it's really nice. And then the last day, it was we had rough wind, like strong wind. The sea was okay, but a lot of traffic, so we had to be constantly on the VHF.
Especially like what is it like
at night and Calais?
Yeah, the narrowest part of the channel. I forgot the name. Is it Calais? Yeah, Calais. Like
it's like
just like
between the cliffs of Dover and like the French part, which is Calais.
Yeah,
it's like 20 miles. Or a bit more maybe.
So you can see the other side, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. We saw like the cliffs of Dover, which was really cool, and we were seeing France as well because we were like on the coast of France, because that's like where you can sail because there's like a shipping channel and you're not supposed to be there.
You can't stay there. Like
you get towed off by the Coast Guard. But yeah, so we were at night at like the end of Calais, and there's like those huge ferries. And they're really fast, and like, oh my god, like stress. We already had the trauma from Miami. We're like, oh my god. So we're like constantly on the radio. It's like, what's your intention? So it was really busy at night. So.
And there's a bunch of like buoys as well, markers on the water.
Yeah.
Like,
so you have to be like paying attention. So we didn't sleep a lot. And then to enter Rotterdam as well, like
that's pretty cool. Like I think because like. You just like see the finish line, and you're like, holy shit! Like after 80 days like sailing, and like we're finally here, and like just see the port of Rotterdam. Like first see the windmills, and then like this huge port, and then you like go in like to this river. It's really far away from until here.
Yeah, 4 hours I think.
Yeah, it took us 4 hours to get all the way here. And so
we arrived in the afternoon, like, and then we made like a pasta. And then we like
started drinking
some whiskey, like to commemorate.
Like while we were still like going up. And it's like again full of ships everywhere, and like we didn't know, like we had our radio on the like channel 16, which is like the channel where you have to stay.
It's like it's called the hailing channel. Like I don't know if it's called hailing channel. I know, but it's like the main channel that if you want to talk to someone, like normally everyone expects everyone to be on channel 16. So if you want to talk to them, you just call their name through the channel 16, and then you go to a different channel to talk about whatever you want to talk.
Yeah.
But we didn't know. I didn't know. That in this, when you enter this this river, you have to flip to a certain channel because then you have the river communication.
Yeah.
And we didn't do it. So we were like on channel 16 and we're like, woo, having a good time, drinking whiskey. Like every time like a boat came by, we were like, oh, honk, honk, like, asking for them to honk. And like one guy did, we were really happy. But we were like just like messing around, like, I mean, not messing around, but like,
just cruising, like happy, like
having a good time. And then at some stage, one boat comes by, like, hey guys, go to channel. I don't know what it was,
like 68 or something like that.
Yeah.
Because every section of the channel in here, the river in Rotterdam, has like a specific channel. So like the first like mile is like 68, then it's 67, then it's 66, and it's like, it's and we didn't know, and so like they were, because like it's a very tight area and they have to coordinate all these huge ships and the barges, and so like the
it's like air traffic control but for boats, because there's one guy like the air traffic control dude who like says, hey, Lazy Bones, there's a big ship coming out, can you wait a bit for him to pass?
And they couldn't reach us.
So like gosh.
And then when we turn on the channel, and then like someone said like
then I talked to the guys like, this is Lazy Bones, and the guy like, there you are. It's like, oh shit.
That was stress. And then of course we had like just crossing and we have to ask to open the ERASMUS bridge so we can go through. That was pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
but when
it was dark, and we had like music, we're listening to music and stuff, and then
when we did that, like they say like, I'll call us like 15 minutes before you're there so that we open the bridge and then you go through and then it doesn't delay traffic too much. We were doing that, like we called the bridge and we were like waiting for it to open.
We were going fast, like we were gonna like reach the bridge before it was open, and so at one stage I put the boat in reverse so that like we weren't close to the bridge, but I said like just to give some space because there was some current pushing the boat, and then the bridge started to open. And then when I wanted to go from reverse to forward, I can show you how it looks, but like our like
gears are
the thing
the throttle like the throttle like came apart.
Yeah.
So we were like going back the bridge, Erasmus Bridge opening, like the trams stopping, like all the cars, the bikes stopping, and then this boat going backwards,
like and full speed reverse, and like oh fuck, how do you do it? Like,
and then like on the radio, like fuck, like we have a problem in our like on our throttle, like I think you're gonna have to close the bridge, and he's like okay, and then like
in panic mode, you know,
and then,
like
I go
grab the
like
tool, grab the wrench, you know, grab the wrench, we need to like put this thing in forward,
and then like start hitting the
like we stressed like 1 minute of pure panic and terror. And then, like, we managed to get it into forward. Like, I saw, okay. And then we came into the port, and then
it was all good.
Oh man, that's like that was expected right at the finish line.
Yeah,
so
of
much
course.
stress.
Yeah. And then we got here. We like stopped the boat. And we like congratulated each other.
And then went to sleep. Like we were dead.
We went to sleep, and then the next day we got a noise complaint. That was it. Then we arrived, and then like literally 5 days later,
I had to go to uni.
We started our masters. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so we got here like in the nick of time.
And like 14 days after we had plans to arrive. So we took 14 days longer than we thought.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So
just in time.
like, so in the end, like it was pretty damn perfect.
Yeah,
like,
it's quite tight.
we got really lucky with everything. Like the weather, like okay, I mean we often left when the weather wasn't optimum.
Because we were in a hurry.
But it was like as good as we could get, or we had to wait like an extra week, you know.
I think if I had the chance to do it again, I'd probably like not have done like have done the masters like next year.
Yeah.
But like I started this year and just like enjoyed the boat.
Yeah, we should definitely have done the masters next year.
Yeah, probably
just take your time.
Probably stayed in like Panama or like across maybe to just stay further south, like in the Caribbean, to not get in the hurricanes.
Yeah, we
like,
could have gone to Grenada.
Yeah, but I just like enjoyed more like the tropics.
Yeah, that was like the only downside. Like we were like on a mission. Like
you were rushing,
had to get the boat here, because like our whole plan was to live on the boat, right? Like we bought the boat because we knew we were gonna live on the boat. Otherwise, it wouldn't have made any
sense.
Yeah, financial sense. Like why would you own a boat and live in an apartment? Like we live here, and it's like we pay 3,000 euros a year for the spot, and it's like in the center of the city. Like it's amazing. Like that's like what we would like pay like in 2 months living together in Rotterdam. Like in like a good spot. Like more or less spot. So
3 to 4 months depending on where you are.
So like it actually like makes like a bit of financial sense to own the boat. Like if we own it for 3 years, like we break even to owning an apartment, like to staying at an apartment.
No, it makes complete sense.
Yeah. But like it's tight, it's a small apartment here.
Yeah, and it's also like, I mean, of course we didn't buy it thinking of only the financials. We bought it because we wanted to go sailing.
I have one more question, 2 more questions. What are you studying?
Okay.
And what was the cryptocurrencies that made you like this is like I need to ask.
Yeah, fair. So we did we studied together for our bachelor's. We did something called Applied Earth Sciences, which is pretty much mining and petroleum engineering, just rebranded.
Yeah.
And now we're doing a master's in business analytics and management. So it's a lot of like data management, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then with the crypto stuff, it was like, it's like, I don't know, for me it was like mostly like Chili's, which is like a fan token.
Yeah,
That's
Chili's,
cool.
Veracity, KuCoin. There's a bunch of different ones.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I think
we got lucky.
Yeah, we got lucky with just because like the market boomed and everything went up like 10%, like 1,000%. So like, you know,
like. You put a few euro, like I had made a bit of money from working as a teacher assistant, and then like after I think the COVID, like the whole market crashed, and there was like I had a bunch of time in free time. I was like, okay, like might as well research the stuff, like, and you're already like investing in crypto before, and like I like knew about it. I was like, okay, like just read more into it and start investing properly, and then like and it was just pretty lucky. Yeah, and I think we both kind of want to continue working in this area. So like we just really enjoy it.
In what area?
Like with cryptocurrencies.
Are you still in it?
Yeah. We still do it.
You wanna tell us your portfolio?
Yeah. It changes all the time. Like right now, I'm
not invested at all.
because of the way the market is and all the crisis with the Ukraine and stuff. Like I don't know what's gonna happen. So I'm like, out of most of my positions just because.
Just waiting for a better moment to enter.
That's also one of the reasons, like, why we didn't lose all the money, because we're trying to be smart about it as well. Like, not like just.
Yeah, we're not gambling here.
Yeah,
like, no.
That's the whole point. Like,
and like, you know, we want to do something in this area, like not only invest but also like maybe build some stuff or.
Yeah.
Let's say you have a boat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everything besides you buying a boat, how much did it turn out to be? To sail from Guatemala to Rotterdam?
I think it was like 1,500 or a bit more per person. Because
only euros.
Yeah. Because like,
but this is without the spare parts.
Yeah. So this is like food and fuel, but that's still like, yeah.
Yeah. But with the spare parts, I think it was closer to like 3,000 euros.
Not per person. You and me, and then Ferris and Patrick, like still 1,500.
That's
because like we bought some like fishing equipment together.
2,000 to 2,000 euros.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
Per person.
But also, we did most of the work ourselves on the boat. Like, we didn't go out to restaurants at all. Like,
we did.
Well, yeah, in Guatemala, where it was like $1.
But like most of these expenses, I have to say, like, is like fuel.
Yeah, fuel and food. And then the COVID test.
COVID test and fuel. Honestly, that was like the biggest items that
Yeah, but the thing is, like, we bought fuel in Guatemala, Bahamas, Bermuda, and Azores in Spain. And like every time it was like around $300.
Do you have any final thoughts for the video? Anything you want to share? You want to plug something?
Yeah, like, subscribe. I always wanted to do that.
Yeah, I think a nice message. I think like a reflection that I had throughout this trip is like that you just have to do the things sometimes.
Not think it through. Like, you just
think it through a bit. Like, to be honest, like, okay, like we were like randomly bought a boat from one day to the next, but like it was not super random. Like we had this dream of owning our boat for several years. Like most of the time we spent before owning this boat was like looking for boats to buy. Like, and like just seeing what boats are there and like just researching this stuff. And also we're experienced sailors. We know what we're doing. We don't know that much, like how to take care of boats, fix engines, that kind of stuff. But like, we knew that we believed that we were capable of doing something like this. Of course, we had self-doubts. We've told you how we doubted ourselves constantly throughout this trip. But like, the opportunity to do this, to fulfill our dream was there. Like we had made the money, we were able to find a boat. And like we had the time as well, and so we just went and did it. And I think too many people like wait for the perfect time, and it just doesn't exist. Like, I think you just have to.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't the perfect time.
And it's like also like financially speaking, it's like not the smartest decision. You know, like 24-year-old, you just spend like a lot of your money on like a sailing boat, like that, not so smart. But that's not what life is about. You know, like it's really about like enjoying like these moments together while you're young. Like we went with our older brother as well, and like we
don't spend so much time with him anymore because he was living in Brazil, but now he's living in Germany. So it's
a good time to spend together with family, and then also with a friend, like,
and our cousin as well. So
it was just. I think that's what life is really about. It's just like going for these experiences, and like maybe buying a sailing boat and like crossing an ocean is a bit like.
But you can do things closer to home, like for example. Croatia, you know, most of your viewers are from Croatia. Like, that place is beautiful. I mean, it's one of my dreams is to go sailing in Croatia.
Oh, you need to, yeah. It's amazing.
Exactly, and you know, like, fine, like you don't have to buy a boat by yourself again. You can buy it with friends. Like we bought it together, but like maybe 4 of you like find a nice boat that has 4 cabins or something like that, and you buy it together with friends, and
you learn. You don't need to.
Like,
but maybe it's good to take some lessons, of course, and like read it. Of course, you have to research the stuff. Like, we spend hours and hours like doing this. But and also like if you're not into sailing, like maybe want to do a crazy adventure, like buy a car and go do like the Siberia or something like that with a car. Like, it's just like I think when we're young, like you just have to go do these trips.
And it doesn't like you say young, but like you don't have to be. The thing is. Like if you have a dream, like try to do it, like, because honestly, like that's what life is about, right? Like otherwise we have dreams and don't do anything, then
don't let your dreams be dreams.
Yeah.